I'm Terrell Davis, and you're watching Class Act Sports.
Speaking about a guy that was drafted late, comparing over to this year's playoff run, James Starks, running back
Yeah,
on Green Bay. Touch on him coming out of Buffalo. He was banged up, hadn't played the past couple of years, but he said it himself the other day. He's ready to write his own story. He knows that he's going to be a solid back and has a bright future in this league, and it's not just a one and done type of thing that happened out of nowhere. That game against the Eagles and the game before that as well.
yeah. You know what's good about him is that I had never even heard of the guy until he played in the Phillies game in the playoffs. But that's what's great about this league. If you're not drafted, don't matter what you've really done in the regular season, and if someone has heard of you, when it's time to play in big games, what are you doing? He's taken advantage of his situation. He's come in. He's had back-to-back solid games, and now people are going to start looking out for James Starks because you know why? He's playing on a high level, and really what he's doing right now, again, I doubt the Packers thought he could do what he's doing right now. I doubt it because he was inactive for a few games during the season. So now they're like, we have a player that we know can step up in big games and play well. When Ryan Grant comes back next year, you got two solid bona fide running backs back there. That gives your team a great chance to really do some damage. And really what he's doing for the Packers now is giving them that balance that most teams need during a playoff run. Some teams can go through just throwing the ball and they can win games, but when you think about a championship team, they're normally a balanced team, a balanced attack. So he gives them that element now.
Let's talk about the quarterback play, switching gears a bit. I'm gonna throw a tough one at you. You
Go
got
ahead.
you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Big Ben Roethlisberger. If you had to take a choice, two of the upper echelon quarterbacks left in this, I know you got Cutler, you got Sanchez, not to take anything away from them, but Big Ben, Aaron Rodgers, who you taking to lead your team from this point out for the rest of the playoffs?
Wow, wow. Aaron Rodgers has looked real good these last couple of weeks, right? Um, yeah, he's looked. I'm not gonna put him in Hall of Fame category, but he's looked real nice. Aaron Rodgers seems like I said to the eye. Aaron Rodgers has the prototypical quarterbacking skills. He's elusive in the pocket. He's got a strong, accurate arm, very tight spiral. Um, and so when you watch Aaron Rodgers, he seems to make a lot of good choices too. Good decisions when he throws the ball. So I like what he's been doing. But Big Ben, it's hard to really gamble against Big Ben. He's already won two Super Bowls. Every time you see this man put into a situation where they need a score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, he's delivered. It may not look pretty. He may hold onto the ball long. He might get hit a lot. He's tough to bring down. So if I was forced to, and I had to give me one quarterback to go ahead and win that ring, I'm going with the guy with the experience and a guy that when the situation calls for it, it's gonna get the job done. That's Big Ben Roethlisberger.
That being what were you? I want you to talk to the viewers and let them know what we discussed the other day. I mentioned Heinz Field, but it was Three Rivers when you played there.
Right.
Share that story with everybody about what that encounter was like. You going into that game with you and those fans in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a tough place to play. And we had played there in '90. I believe it was '98 when we first our first Super Bowl run, and we played there in the regular season and we lost. And so we had to go back there in the playoffs for the AFC Championship game. And before the game, we get off the bus, we're walking in. Of course, Steelers fans are rowdy, they're crazy, very fanatic fans, and a couple of guys were out by the gate, and they were just bumping their gums. I said, well, listen, okay, I want to see you at this entrance when the game is over. I want to see your face at this entrance when this game is over. Of course, we go into the game. We have a good game plan against Pittsburgh. We beat them, and I don't talk a lot, man. I'm not a talker. But sometimes fans get you riled up, and you can't say anything, but just hey, after this game, then see. And so after the game was finished, went out toward the buses, and of course, I didn't see that fan nowhere. He was nowhere to be found. So it felt good. It felt real good for payback stuff.
Last question, TD. We appreciate you taking out the time. What advice would you have for a 17-year-old kid out there that admires Terrell Davis, knows the future Hall of Famer guy like yourself? What advice would you have for a guy like that trying to make it and get into the league and get his opportunity?
Well, for somebody like that who's 17, I would just say do as much as you can, and even sometimes more when it comes to working out, whether it comes to different positions. Don't get pigeonholed to believing that you're a defensive back and then just maintain trying to be a defensive back. If you got to play running back, defensive back, I don't care if it's kicker, I don't care if it's fullback, I don't care if it's nose guard. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something. Most people don't know this, but I played nose guard and fullback when I was in high school. I wasn't even really a running back.
Wow.
So my skills and my experience at nose guard in high school really served me well when it was time for me to actually run with the football. Because I knew what defensive linemen were thinking. It gave me a different mentality when I ran with the ball. So I just tell kids out there, just play as many positions as you can. Do not let coaches tell you that, nope, you're a defensive back or you're a running back. Play as much as you can. That's going to help you down the road.
All right, well, Terrell, we look forward to catching up with you, previewing the Super Bowl, as well as doing a lot of draft analysis going into the 2011 NFL Draft. So we look forward to having you be a Class X Sports correspondent. And thanks a lot for taking the time.
No problem, Jay. Appreciate it. You guys have a lovely day. I think you're on the East Coast. It's lovely out here in California.
Oh, man, it's cold. There's snow on the ground here. It's all good. But
no snow out here, buddy.
I'm Jared Ginsburg. That's the one and only future Hall of Famer, believe it or not, Terrell Davis. TD, thanks once again.
No problem.